Hello, knowledge seekers. In this episode of 20-Minute Books, we're delving into the rich emotional world of our non-human companions with The Inner Life of Animals by Peter Wohlleben. Wohlleben, a German forester and the esteemed author behind the New York Times bestseller The Hidden Life of Trees, invites us on a journey through the latest research on animal emotions, interweaving scientific discoveries with enchanting anecdotes from his own experiences in the woods he has tended to for years. This illuminating book breaks the boundaries between human and animal, showcasing that the emotional lives of animals are far more similar to our own than many might think. With a blend of heartwarming tales and thought-provoking insights, The Inner Life of Animals is a treasure trove for anyone who's ever looked into the eyes of an animal and wondered what they're thinking or feeling. Whether you're a pet owner curious about the inner workings of your furry friend, someone intrigued by the parallels between psychology, neurology, and the animal kingdom, or an animal rights activist seeking powerful new perspectives in the fight for ethical treatment, this book is sure to resonate with you. Join us as we explore the profound connections and shared experiences between humans and animals, guided by Wohleben's compassionate and well-informed narrative. The Inner Life of Animals: Love, Grief, and Compassion. Surprising Observations of a Hidden World. Introduction. Discover the emotional lives of creatures, big and small. We often see glimpses of what seems to be shame in our pets, like a dog's guilt-ridden gaze after it's raided the kitchen. These moments suggest animals are far more than instinct-driven automatons. Instead, they might share with us a rich emotional realm, a possibility that raises countless fascinating questions. Can animals truly feel regret, sadness, or even deceit? Delving into these curiosities, this digest explores the multifaceted psychological landscape of animals. Through a blend of scientific research and first-hand observations, author Peter Wohlleben invites us into the hearts and minds of our fellow creatures. These insights reveal the surprising depth of animal emotions. Find out what goes on in the dreams of lab rats, uncover the crafty strategies of a rooster, and learn why certain creatures like water bears often fall under researchers' radar. Prepare to embark on a journey into the inner world of animals, where their experiences might not be so different from our own. Part 1. Understanding emotions in animals requires caution, but embraces evolutionary bonds. Imagine if we could peek into the thoughts of a rabbit, or the feelings of a crow. While this narrative won't quite turn you into an animal mind reader, it can illuminate the complex intersection of animal emotions and human interpretations. Yet, there's a word of caution we must heed: the trap of anthropomorphism, or attributing human characteristics to our animal friends that may not be representative of their true nature. Consider squirrels, with their charming eyes and fluffy tails. Despite their adorable appearance, they are natural-born hunters, devouring helpless baby birds without a second thought. It's not a matter of morality, but survival instinct. So it's important to remember that our emotional responses to animals are reflections of our perspectives, not necessarily those of the animals themselves. Despite the danger of human projection, evolutionary science does hint at emotional commonalities between animals and us. Given our shared lineage, it stands to reason that the building blocks of our emotions are inherited from our ancient common forebears. The structure of our brains and nervous systems, particularly in mammals, supports the theory that we experience similar emotions, facilitated by the older, more universal parts of our cerebral architecture. For instance, the rush of oxytocin that envelops both human mothers and nanny goats during childbirth is a powerful testament to the connection we share with our fellow animals. This hormone fosters a profound bond between mother and child, an integral aspect of nurturing that spans across species. But if the foundations for emotional experiences are so evolutionary deep-seated, why do we see such a vast array of responses across different species? Let's dive deeper into the waters of animal emotions to seek some clarity. Part 2. The misconceptions about animals reflect human-centric biases. Our perceptions of the animal kingdom are often clouded by what we deem beneficial or detrimental to our own lives. For centuries, we've sorted animals into categories like pests and pets, but these labels can obscure the true nature of these creatures. Consider the common garden snail, maligned for ravaging our vegetable patches, and then the hedgehog, celebrated for its appetite for those very snails. Our domesticated dogs are cherished as loyal friends, but these judgments are based on human needs and affections, not on an unbiased understanding of the animals themselves. To genuinely appreciate the inner workings of animal minds, we must discard these arbitrary distinctions. Take pigs, for example. Often unfairly labeled as filthy and dull-witted, pigs are anything but. They are remarkably intelligent, social, and much cleaner than many might expect. When faced with unwanted intrusions from other pig groups, pigs are adept at size-up genetic relations to determine whether to engage in conflict or not. And these smart creatures can even outsmart hunters tasked with their population control by evading traps set with bait. Their penchant for cleanliness is evident when you observe their toilet habits. Pigs carefully select spaces far from their sleeping areas for their waste. Perhaps our reluctance to acknowledge the intelligence and personality traits of such animals allows us to consume them with less guilt. The truth is, we're often blind to the complexity and sentience of animals whose lives we don't celebrate or protect. It is time we overcome this bias, recognizing that no animal is inherently good or bad. They simply are as they are, deserving of consideration beyond their utility to humans. Part 3. Deciphering emotions varies across species, with some animals more enigmatic than others. Our ability to interpret the feelings of animals often hinges on our familiarity with them. For animals we've grown alongside throughout history, we've become adept at reading their signals and understanding their communication. Take dogs, for example. Their expressive body language, such as a menacing snarl, sends a clear message to steer clear. Meanwhile, horses have their own nuanced way of expressing feelings. Researchers at ETH Zurich found that horses have a dual-frequency neighing system to convey the nature and intensity of their emotions. The realm of great apes brings a touch of complexity to our understanding of animal emotions. Coco, a female gorilla taught by psychologist Penny Patterson, could communicate with a vocabulary of over 1,000 signs, offering a fascinating glimpse into her emotional world. Despite these insights into certain animals, many species remain enigmas, often due to their diminutive size or perceived irrelevance to humans. The weevil, a beetle-like insect that feigns death when threatened, is one such creature. With its tiny stature and elephant-like appearance, there hasn't been much drive to delve deeper into the weevil's emotional life. After all, its existence seems far removed from our own. This lack of curiosity extends to the curious tardigrade, or water bear. Despite their abundance, with over 1,000 subspecies, their minuscule size and lack of obvious utility to humans have left their behavior largely unexplored. Their 8-legged forms and seemingly cuddly shape haven't yet captured our scientific interest or emotional empathy. As we uncover more about some species and continue to marvel at the emotional capacities of those we know best, perhaps it's time to widen our gaze. The animal kingdom is vast and varied, and every creature, from the dogs at our heels to the tiny tardigrades under our microscopes, has its own story and emotional tapestry to share, should we choose to listen. Part 4. Instinct, Emotion, and Consciousness. Untangling the threads of animal and human behavior. The debate about whether animals experience emotions like humans or are simply slaves to instinct is ongoing. Yet there is a compelling parallel between our behaviors and those of the animal world. The assertion that animals' actions are solely driven by chemistry and innate programming fails to recognize the complexity of their experiences and ours. Take the case of the mother squirrel, who will relocate her young tirelessly until she physically can no longer continue. Is this a display of maternal heroism, or is it the result of an overpowering hormone-driven instinct? This question is equally relevant to human behavior, considering human mothers are subject to similar hormonal influences as their animal kin when it comes to protecting their children. The role of instinct, action without conscious thought, is significant in both human and animal behavior. Just as a human's reflexive reaction to withdraw from a hot surface is instantaneous and unconscious, animals are guided by similar instincts for survival and protection. The idea that animals are devoid of emotions and led only by instinct is a misconception, as humans too are guided by instincts embedded in our subconscious. Modern science is continually uncovering how much of our actions are influenced by subconscious processes. One striking example comes from research at the Max Planck Institute in Leipzig, demonstrating that decisions may be known by our subconscious up to 7 seconds before we are consciously aware of making them. This interplay between instinct, emotion, and conscious thought forms a common thread weaving through the tapestry of life, connecting humans with the animal kingdom. Acknowledging this connection highlights our shared affinity, questioning the boundaries we've long assumed to exist between us and them. It's an intricate dance of nature and nurture, biology and experience, that shapes the behaviors of all living creatures. Part 5. The complexities of love and bonding across species lines. The arena of affection between humans and animals is a heartwarming yet confounding space, full of mutual feelings, whose depths and nuances we might never fully understand. Many pet owners would confidently claim their furry friends hold a deep fondness for them, though this affection might not mirror the complexities of human love. The relationship between a dog and its owner, for instance, is underpinned by the dog's reliance on its human for basic needs and social structure, rather than a purely selfless emotional bond. Imprinting offers a stark example of how intricate and sometimes misleading these interspecies attachments can be. The classic case is the newborn bird that mistakes a human for its mother upon hatching. This immediate and irreversible bond shapes the bird's behavior, driving it to follow and emulate the human it imprints on. Yet, this is less an expression of affection and more a powerful biological programming. Interestingly, there are animals like fungi, the dolphin, that seem to seek out human interactions without any clear survival-based motive. For over 3 decades, Fungi's joyous presence around the boats in Dingle Bay has been a mystery and a marvel to many. His choice to engage with humans is a genuine puzzle and a reminder of how much we have yet to learn about animal affections. Humans themselves express complex emotions towards animals, sometimes in ways that are less than beneficial. Consider the act of dog breeding, driven by a desire to enhance certain traits, whether for aesthetic appeal or functional use. This selective breeding can lead to health issues, such as the breathing difficulties experienced by pugs due to their bred for short muzzles. There are also times when human love for pets takes the form of overindulgence, leading to overfeeding or excessive pampering, which, despite the good intentions, can lead to suffering rather than comfort for the animal. It becomes evident that our interactions with animals are fraught with potential for misunderstanding and unintended consequences. Perhaps by striving for a deeper understanding of animal emotions and behaviors, we can forge connections that are truly reciprocal and respectful of the animal's needs and well-being. Part 6. The Case for Animal Rights. Recognizing our shared experience of fear and pain. It's time we delve into the visceral experiences of animals, notably their capacity to feel fear and pain. The evidence suggests that animals and humans are strikingly alike when facing discomfort or threat. Our emotional epicenter, the limbic system, is ancient and shared across the mammalian class. This includes the amygdala, a critical region responsible for processing basic emotions, which, you might be surprised to learn, is also found in fish under a different name. The telencephalon. Similarly, the hormonal messengers that signal pain are fundamentally the same across species. This biological unity means the cow recoiling from an electric fence experiences a comparable reaction to any human who unwittingly makes the same painful mistake. The gap between us and other animals arguably narrows to the thorny issue of consciousness, an area where even the most brilliant minds have much to learn. This lack of understanding passes into an ethical conundrum surrounding our treatment of animals and their rights. Some scientists, possibly influenced by the motives of industries more than welfare considerations, downplay our ability to equate human pain with animal suffering. Yet, researchers like Victoria Braithwaite challenge this notion. Her studies revealed that fish, whose pain was once notoriously overlooked, have receptors around their mouths that render them highly sensitive to the agony of being hooked, a discovery that should give pause to any fishing enthusiast. What do these revelations mean for our moral compass? As we grapple with scientific uncertainties, erring on the side of compassion seems not just prudent, but essential. When faced with a choice, advocating for the victim's side, recognizing the shared pain and fear that ripple through all sentient beings, could be the most humane stance we could take. Part 7. More than mere reflex, the fascinating signs of self-awareness in animals. The question of how deeply animals comprehend their emotions leads us to ponder their level of consciousness. Here's where it gets interesting. Many animals not only experience emotions, but also demonstrate signs of self-awareness, arguably one of the hallmarks of higher consciousness. Take the astounding world of avian communication, where ravens aren't just squawking aimlessly. They're using unique calls as names, a clear marker of identity and self-recognition. Their sophisticated cries are not just for themselves, but so others can specifically address them as individuals. What's in a name, you ask? Quite a bit, actually. Pigs, those clever-snouted creatures, have shown similar abilities. Researchers at the Friedrich Loeffler Institute successfully taught pigs to respond to their individually assigned names, a feat that required them to recognize a specific call as theirs and act upon hearing it. This goes beyond basic training. It suggests cognizance of one's distinct entity among peers. The concept of self-awareness can be further explored through the mirror test, where animals are marked with a visible dot and then brought before a reflection. If they attempt to remove the dot from themselves instead of the mirror, it's a positive indicator of self-recognition. Great apes, dolphins, elephants, pigs, and even some bird species have all passed this test of self-awareness. However, a failing mark doesn't unequivocally denote a lack of self-awareness. Perhaps some animals, like your unbothered Fido, don't see the importance in interacting with their mirror counterparts. These insights into animal consciousness enhance our understanding and appreciation of different species. Recognizing self-awareness in our non-human counterparts strengthens the argument for their respectful and considerate treatment. After all, respecting an animal's individuality might just be a reflection of our own humanity. Part 8. Emotional connections thrive within the social networks of animals. As social creatures, animals are not unlike humans in the way they express and experience emotions that are inherently tied to their interactions within a group. In the complex tapestry of a social life, certain emotions make their appearance only within the context of community interactions. Consider the idea of shame, an emotion of self-awareness that surfaces when an individual perceives a breach of group norms. The author provides an anecdote of observing one of his horses acting mildly embarrassed, yawning after being reprimanded for eating too soon, but only when the other horse is a witness to the event. This suggests that the display of shame, akin to human experiences, is a social signal of a desire to adhere to accepted behaviors and maintain group harmony. Fairness, too, is a concept ingrained in social animals. In a revealing experiment, 2 dogs given the task of offering a paw received treats that slowly became one-sided. The dog left without rewards promptly lost enthusiasm to participate, indicating a response to perceived inequality. In contrast, a lone dog had no benchmark for fairness and thus no reason to withhold participation. Empathy, the capacity to resonate with another's emotional state, also transcends species barriers. In controlled studies with rats, scientists documented heightened pain responses in rats that witnessed their counterparts suffer similar pain. Interestingly, these reactions were mitigated when the pained rats were accompanied by familiar, unharmed rats, an indicator of emotional support. These behaviors in animals underline a powerful notion. Emotions are not merely individual experiences, but are fundamentally shaped, reinforced, or modulated by social dynamics. Just as humans depend on and react to the emotional cues of those around us, animals too engage in this intricate dance of social emotions, a testament to the depth and sophistication of animal societies. Part 9. From noble acts of giving to sly tricks, animals navigate the nuances of social behavior. The complexity of animal behavior extends beyond basic instincts and survival tactics. It includes shades of altruism and duplicity that mirror human social interactions. These behaviors can significantly influence their evolutionary success within communal living environments. Let's observe the strategic generosity of vampire bats in South America. When a bat returns from feasting, it often shares the bounty with those less fortunate in their hunting endeavors. However, this act of sharing is selective, extended toward fellow bats that have previously demonstrated a willingness to reciprocate. This behavior is not only a demonstration of social cohesion, but also a calculated investment in future assistance, a clear indication that in the animal world, sometimes kindness is a calculated currency. This capacity for choice suggests that animal altruism is far from being an automatic response. Instead, it's evidence of a form of free will or deliberate social strategy within the animal kingdom. However, not all social maneuvers are founded on selflessness. Take, for example, the sly conduct of a rooster among his hens. While he often uses a specific call to share found food, he's been known to use this same call without any treat in sight, a deceptive tactic to bring the hens closer for mating opportunities. This cunning use of communication illustrates the strategic facet of animal interactions. When it comes to safeguarding resources, animals like jaybirds exhibit complex behaviors that border on petty larceny and vigilant protection. During autumn, they bury acorns for the colder months and are not above stealthily snagging from others' caches. Research has revealed their acute awareness of potential theft, prompting them to bury their acorns more discreetly when other birds are watching compared to when they're alone. This fascinating peek into the animal world's mix of benevolence and guile shows creatures employing various strategies to secure their place within their societies. As we uncover these behaviors, the image of animals as simple, instinct-bound beings fades, giving way to a recognition of their intricate social intelligence and the multifaceted motivations that guide them. Part 10. Dream a Little Dream. The Mysterious Slumber of Animals. The need for sleep is a universal trait among living creatures, and animals have evolved some rather unusual methods to catch their zizzies. Yet, beyond their quirky sleeping habits lies another layer of mystery: the possibility that many of them also experience dreams. Chickens, for instance, can snooze unbothered while standing on a perch, with their claws locking in place automatically, and muscle activity dialed down to prevent any unwanted movement. Even the twitching that might resemble a dream reaction is seemingly absent as they tuck their heads under their wings for a peaceful night's rest. Swifts take sleeping to new heights, literally, by drifting off while spiraling down from a high-altitude flight. This snooze-on-the-go strategy isn't without its perils, but it's a striking example of the diversity of sleep practices in the animal kingdom. As for dreaming, it's not solely a human luxury. REM sleep, the stage where dreaming occurs, is a phenomenon observed across various species. Even fruit flies have been seen exhibiting subtle leg movements during sleep, a hint of the dreaming world's reach into the smallest of creatures. Clues to the content of animal dreams have emerged from intriguing research studies. Scientists at MIT found remarkable parallels between the brain activity of rats navigating a maze and their brain waves during REM sleep, leading researchers to infer that these little navigators might be dreaming about their labyrinthine escapades. Anyone with a cat or a dog is likely familiar with the telltale signs of their pet dreaming: the slight whimpering or paw twitching that suggests an unseen adventure. This phenomenon was scientifically confirmed back in the 1960s when experiments with cats, designed to prevent muscle relaxation during sleep, resulted in slumbering felines energetically moving as if engaging with invisible playmates or adversaries. These revelations offer a captivating glimpse into the inner lives of animals, suggesting that, just like us, they may retreat into a world of dreams, vibrant, mysterious, and uniquely their own. Part 11. Contemplating the depth of animal consciousness and their awareness of mortality. Tackling one of the most profound mysteries about the natural world, the question of whether animals possess souls is a topic that fascinates and perplexes. The author believes that animals do indeed have souls, a stance that invites us to consider what exactly we mean by this term. According to one definition, the soul is the essence that enables life, emotion, thought, and action, qualities that have been observed in animal behavior, from self-naming ravens to crafty roosters. If the capacity for feeling and purposeful behavior serves as indicators of a soul's presence, then animals showcase these attributes in abundance. But there's also the spiritual dimension laid out by religious contexts, which suggests a soul is the ethereal counterpart of physical existence that ascends to an afterlife. For those who accept evolution as the framework of life's progression, it's a perplexing challenge to pinpoint a moment in time when creatures began to possess souls. Evolution is a story without sudden leaps. It's about slow, incremental changes. Under an evolutionary viewpoint, it's logically inconsistent to declare humans have souls while denying the same to animals that share an unbroken lineage with us. As for the finality of death, some animals exhibit behaviors that imply an awareness of their impending end. Herd animals often isolate themselves when their time is near, instinctively acting to protect the group from the vulnerability a dying member may bring. Whether they comprehend their mortality as we understand ours is uncertain, but such actions hint at a level of understanding. Ultimately, the notion that animals might embrace both sensory and spiritual souls remains an enigma. What each creature experiences at life's end may forever remain a mystery. However, acknowledging the profound and rich existence of animals, mirroring the emotional and spiritual dimensions of human life, grants them a respect and reverence that transcends our comprehension. Final summary. As we conclude this journey, we come to understand that our perceptions of animals are often colored by our human lenses, inclining us to attribute familiar emotions and consciousness to them. Our explorations have revealed that the emotional experiences of animals may not be as distant from our own as we once thought. They exhibit a range of feelings and behaviors, from the acts of altruism displayed by vampire bats, to the strategic intelligence of ravens, to the complex social emotions of domesticated pets. Despite the variances in research, signs of analogous experiences between humans and animals suggest a shared evolutionary past, leading to the provocative proposition that animals, much like us, may have souls. If emotions, consciousness, and even self-awareness are benchmarks of a soul, then animals, in displaying these traits, make a compelling case for their possession of this enigmatic essence. As we grapple with these insights, the moral and ethical implications are clear. Animals deserve our respect, empathy, and protection. Moving beyond mere utility, recognizing the intricate and valuable lives of animals charges us with the responsibility to consider their well-being in our actions and policies. In embracing the profound connections that link us with the animal kingdom, we step into a world where the line between human and animal emotions blurs, where the inner life of a creature extends beyond survival and touches on the spiritual, a realization that should guide us towards a more compassionate coexistence with the non-human lives that share our planet. Thank you for joining me today on this journey of learning and discovery as we explored the insights of another thought-provoking book in our growing library of knowledge. If you've enjoyed our time together, Please take a moment to follow our podcast, give us a 5-star rating, and share 20-minute books with other knowledge seekers. Your support truly means a lot. Don't forget to join me again in the next episode, where we will delve into another enriching book. Until then, happy reading and happy listening.